Hello, welcome to the Depths of Jigoku podcast. This podcast is about gaming, music, movies, and whatever we decide is entertaining this week. Thank you for joining us. As usual, we have the dreaded pirate,
What's up, guys?
the illustrious and sultry BiPoe,
Hello.
and I am Kain. All right. Let's keep talking about Spotify's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just assumed it was something with the music, but then I was like, this shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, seems to work on the phone. Got it to play it when I was driving, but on my laptop seemed to have too many issues. Just kept saying that there was an issue with the stream or with the playback for whatever reason.
Dude, Spotify does that thing where it just be like, you don't have any internet service. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm on my phone. Like, if I can make phone calls and check Reddit, I have internet service, motherfucker.
It's unlimited, even if it's slow.
Yeah. I don't know. Spotify's fucking weird, man. As far as like music listening apps go, there are definitely better done apps.
That's bad.
All right. So let's get the big thing out of the room. Let it out of its cage. P. Diddy has officially gone into hiding. You guys,
After all the accusations that have been popping up everywhere, and again, can we be surprised about this? No.
well, apparently, so they did the raids and they had him in handcuffs and detained, but they didn't have a warrant to arrest him, so they released him. And he hopped on his plane, and as soon as he left American airspace, he turned off his transponder. Now no one knows where he's at.
I'm not surprised.
Like,
Man rich enough to be able to do something like that and, not want to be found.
how you know you're guilty without saying you're guilty.
Run and disappear.
Right?
I hadn't even gotten into all the stuff he did.
It's just R. Kelly, but with also boys. Like, apparently he was using his clout to, like, get people famous. One of them being the Biebs. Yeah, just normal R. Kelly rapper, like, I'm gonna be a fucking moron kind of stuff.
fair
Did
enough.
he also golden shower like R. Kelly, or is we just like comparing like the two different?
I don't know if he golden showered like R. Kelly, but he did pay a dude to record his entire life for the last 10 years. And that guy has come out in statements and said, there's a lot of illegal things I recorded. The FBI now has those recordings. So, like, who knows? Maybe he did do a golden shower.
Is that dude still alive? Because if you have enough money to like turn off your transponder in your plane and just disappear.
No, of course not.
No, the guy recording that recorded everything.
Dude, P. Diddy was paying him to record it.
Yeah, but never know. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that he goes missing or something.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody else who ends up being whistleblowers does.
That is true. You know, we haven't heard from Snowden since the whole Russia-Ukraine thing kicked off.
Shit.
There.
Man, I was hanging out with some friends the other day, and like they were getting into like deep conspiracy theories, including one that I didn't really know much about.
All right, let's shoot. I got a conspiracy theory to talk about.
You might know more about this one than I do. They just kind of started going off on tangent, and I knew part of it was all related to like Epstein Island and stuff, and like the Clintons and all of these more recent conspiracies that have been coming up over the past few years. Saying that what was it? Chester Bedingfield. Was it the cook?
The
Shit.
Chester Bedingfield was a singer, man.
Yeah, no. It was like four of them: Chester Bedingfield, Anthony Bourdain, and all of them, because they all died around the same time.
Yeah.
And they all died of apparent suicide. And the whole thing about it was that they all died of apparent suicide because they were working towards like just trashing these child like conspiracy rings and all the stuff on Epstein Island, and they were all working towards getting this brought out into the public, and that's why they all passed away, or that's why they all died.
I'm not against that conspiracy theory.
And you know how it is, man. I was sitting there, and it was the first time hearing about a lot of it, and just they kept going back and forth with all these, like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. You know what, that makes sense too. Shit, this all makes sense.
Who's the moron from that '70s show? Fuck, what's his name?
The one who played Hyde.
No. That guy's in jail now.
Oh yeah.
The one that was married to Mila Kunis.
Ashton Kutcher.
Him, yeah, Ashton Kutcher. He runs a paramilitary organization that goes after child predators.
Nice.
He keeps it pretty on the down low. But yeah, he literally just hires like SEALs and Green Berets and Rangers and shit to go chase down child predators and capture them for the US government.
I was talking to a friend, and you know what? I support the concept of let anybody who wants to become a full-time resident of the United States hunt down a child predator and, you know, bring them to justice.
Yeah, I'm not against it.
full send, becoming a full-blood citizen of the United States, everything. Social security number, not even a green card, full citizenship.
I am for trying them because it's the American way, and the way our laws are written, you could be a child predator for peeing on a tree that's within 100 feet of a fucking elementary school. But, like, also, yeah, if you're tried and proven, I don't know why we're, like, locking these people up and trying to rehab a lot of them when most of them don't want to be rehabbed.
I mean, most of them don't even make it through jail.
Well, yeah, because if you're a chomo, you're going to get, you know,
raped. There's a lot of bad things in this world. One thing most people, even the worst of the worst, do not normally put up with. They don't touch our kids, man.
Yeah.
Honor among thieves.
All right, so I got a new conspiracy theory.
All right, let's go.
I was rolling around Indeed looking for another job, and I found a job for penguin counting. You apparently need a top secret clearance to go penguin counting, where the government will pay you to go to Antarctica and literally just point at penguins and be like, 1, 2. So my conspiracy theory is you're too close to the ice wall, and America doesn't want you releasing that the Earth is actually flat.
Oh no! Oh no!
You know what? Jed, I'm so glad you had the same reaction as me. Right.
I'm many things in this world, and I believe some weird stuff and some conspiracies that may or may not be real. I don't believe in the flat Earth one. I've been to the opposite side of the planet.
Same.
I've taken planes to a lot of different places. I've seen the curvature of the planet from above.
I've seen the curvature of the universe, I swear.
I mean that too, but in a completely different way. Yeah, there was no planes involved in that one.
But also, like, I'm a troll. This is going to be my next festival conspiracy theory.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean,
let's see if it picks up. Let's see if it picks up just like the birds aren't real one that seemed to explode right after that Halloween.
Dude, that one went way too far, way too quick.
I'm surprised we went back the year after. You guys got with that one.
We went back the year after, and people were trying to explain to me how birds weren't real, and I was like, bro, too much LSD, not enough common sense.
I'll be right back, guys.
You were like, oh god, what was the? I don't know. Have you ever seen Narnia?
Yeah, I've seen
the movies, and you know, like the scene with the lion. I don't know which Narnia was, but like the scene with the lion that's like, "Don't read me the old scriptures, you witch."
Yeah.
You were pretty much like that with the people trying to convince you that birds weren't real.
No, so we sit down. We get there usually on Wednesdays, a couple days before the festival, and we sit down Wednesday night, And this dude sits down next to me and is talking to me about how the birds aren't real and how he thinks COVID's not real. And I was like, bro, COVID's only so that the government can change the batteries in the birds. And it blew his fucking mind. Like, he was all in.
Can we please put a caveat that these are just funny conspiracy theories and that we may or may not actually believe these?
I mean,
Right in back.
I've
At
worked
least
I've worked for the government. Some of these are probably pretty real.
you know what? To each
I'm
their
gonna go
own,
with, I
but
gotta say more than some. I truly do believe at this point in the world that a lot more than just a couple of the conspiracy theories over the years are real.
oh yeah, there are definitely some that are like real or more plausible than others, but the Earth is flat one will always be one that I'm like no, but continue.
Yeah, I mean, the Earth is obviously not flat, unless you want to believe
Yeah.
the government. There's also hollow Earth theory.
I will be straight up honest. I would rather, if I had to choose between the two, I'd rather believe in hollow Earth theory than flat.
I
Or
think
the one is hollow Earth the one that's like dinosaur, like you remember Journey to the Center of the Earth with like Brendan Fraser? Is that what like hollow Earth is?
yeah.
It's like yeah. I'd rather believe in that one than flat Earth.
Hollow Earth is where all the lizard people live, man.
It's true.
That's just meta. I'm sorry.
And the crab people, according to South Park.
Very true.
Yeah. I think that there's more people, more hollow earthers that are just there to troll people they think is hollow earthers than there are actual hollow earthers. Like, I think it's just everyone's fucking with each other so much because it's the internet.
I want to believe that's what the flat Earth one is too, because like it's so ridiculous.
It is, but when it's a point to like people are making YouTube videos trying to prove flat Earth, but then disprove it because they actually don't understand science, then it's like flat Earth is sadly one of them that is like. Really
And we live
real.
in America where like how many of these people you think have even left their fucking state?
Let alone
Wasn't
their
there-
town.
Wasn't there a dude that like tried to prove the Earth is flat by like building his own like junkyard rocket ship?
Yeah,
Yes,
he died in the
it
rocket
exploded.
ship.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised. Man's like, I'm about to slap together some like rusted pieces of like Ford F-150 hoods and like all this. Like, I'm surprised it even got constructed.
I mean, the same thing happened when they tried to go see the Titanic again.
Dude, the dude's in the sub.
It was just shinier metal. That's all it is.
Dude, that was so like botchly made. Like,
The fact that people
I-
were paying millions of dollars to get in a plastic submarine.
yeah, it was essentially plastic with like an old, like a super old, like early 2000s, third party, like third rate, like Xbox controller or PlayStation controller.
Like not only that, with how many people were in that thing and how tiny it was, I don't like being in a tent with anybody else if it's too fucking small. Fuck, I'm gonna go under the water where I can't escape. Can't get around if somebody shits their pants, and there's no getting away from this.
Real life hippie problems.
You ain't gonna. I don't care how much money. I don't care what you're gonna show me. I'm not gonna get stuffed into a tiny little fucking, essentially a Campbell's soup can for adult use and throw them into the ocean.
I hate that my mind went, yeah, it's a Campbell's tomato soup can.
I mean, it was after it got crushed.
Yeah. You
No,
know,
it was a beer can after St. Patty's Day after it got crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say I do feel bad for that one dude's son that got guilt tripped into going on that trip. That's
Where
the
you,
most I feel bad for.
I don't care how much guilt you try to push my way, I'm not getting on an underwater device that's ran by a Mad Catz controller.
I was about to say it wasn't even a name brand one.
Yeah, it was a third party.
It was a third rate. It looked like something you would buy just because it was cheap as dirt, and it might have LEDs.
No, that's
Like
the
old days of controllers, not new days, where half the fucking controllers we have now have LEDs. But like
Yeah.
when Mad Catz first came out, and the only controllers, you can get LEDs, but they fucking sucked. The joysticks went out, the buttons stuck.
You know, that controller definitely was like the one you give to like your little brother's friend so that they can play with you. You can't see, but like air quotes, play with you.
I was about to say you fucked it up. I just don't plug it in and give it to him. Like, here you go, bud.
Who says it's plugged in? I just said that you just give it to them.
Fair enough.
As one of the younger brothers, I understand like sometimes my GameCube controller was not plugged into the GameCube.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't sleep on that turbo button though.
Although the days of actually tricking your siblings with that is coming to an end, gentlemen. Thankfully, we're older to it doesn't matter as much because everything's going to wireless. You have to actually look for it. Like you have to actually specifically choose a corded controller. It's not standard anymore.
And it's weird. I think corded controllers are a little more expensive than wireless.
Well, it's because corded
Yeah,
controllers nowadays are nicer controllers. You're getting the corded one to reduce latency. You're not getting the corded one because it's the cheap one.
Yeah, but it's the same concept as manual cars being more expensive than automatics now. Just because it's the if you go anything off of what standardly comes for most people, they're just going to charge you for it because why? They can, and you're going to pay it.
It's true.
Capitalism. Love it.
Talking about turbo button old ass controllers, have you guys heard about the new Tekken stage that everyone's requesting?
That people wanted to be a fucking
House?
Waffle House. I just saw something about that.
Dude, fuck
Love
yeah.
it. Is it an April Fool's joke or is it real? Because I know the creators of Tekken were very confused.
Much like my love of the X-Files, I want to believe.
I agree with that one. I would love to see it. I mean, speaking on that, do you know what state has the highest number of Waffle Houses in the country?
If it's okay,
I hope it's Florida.
I think it's Alabama or like Mississippi.
Final answers?
I'm going with Florida.
I'm gonna go with Alabama.
It's Georgia, with at least double the second place one, which I think it might be Florida.
That, it doesn't surprise me, to be honest. Georgia's a pretty slept on southern state.
I feel like Georgia might be what. I'm gonna look this up really quick. Is Georgia where Waffle House started?
Yeah.
Huh.
Georgia holds 430 locations.
What? Did Waffle House start, or was it just birthed from the hellfire?
Why wouldn't this be the?
It did start in Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Good to
In
know.
1955, two Georgia neighbors opened up a restaurant that would change the world. Joe Rogers Sr. and Tom Borkner, what an unfortunate last name, were living in Avondale Estates when they decided to open up a 24-hour sit-down restaurant, which became Waffle House.
I
Good for
mean,
them.
yeah, fuck it. Waffles are good. What it evolved into is not good, but waffles are good.
It is evolved into something with its own cult classic or cult following.
You go to Waffle House.
Not all cults are bad. Just 99% of them.
Yeah. You go to Waffle House for the totally free silverware, and to learn how to defend yourself and fight.
I go to Waffle House for the show, and the food's actually not bad. It's Southern Hibachi.
Southern
You get to watch
hibachi.
them. Yeah, you get to watch them cook in front of you, no matter where you are in the restaurant. And again, there might be a show. It's a 50-50 chance.
You're not wrong.
I'm just sitting with it because I've never heard it described like that, and you're not far off, if not fully correct.
So, have you guys heard the story of me trying to join a cult?
No.
Which one?
So I tried to join this cult called the 12 Tribes, and they run a place called the Yellow Deli. Good food. I want to preface this conversation with great food.
Okay.
But how the cult works is you work at the Yellow Deli for free. And they'll if they like you, they'll offer you a spot in their little cult mansion thing that they have going on. And basically you get to join the cult after that.
Okay.
being the trolliest of trolls. I went, and much like every other cult on the planet, they have things that they hate. This cult specifically hates minorities and gays. So
I was just reading their wiki about that.
I didn't start off by saying I was gay. I just constantly talked about my boyfriend when asked. I worked at this place for 4.5 hours, free of charge. I can't say free. They did give me a sandwich. Um, and then they kicked me out and wouldn't let me come to their cult mansion because they had thought I was gay.
I mean, you do kind of look like a bear.
I mean,
And you did talk about your boyfriend.
I did. Very unpronounced about my boyfriend. I would, whenever they'd ask about my girlfriend or my wife or whatever, I'd be like, "Oh, my partner."
Yeah, but also I feel like when it comes to like anti-gay people or anti any LGBT people, they are quick to think somebody else is what they don't like.
Well, that's any
You w-
group of people
you
that
wink
has a
it
hatred.
exactly. So it won't
I should
take long.
stop reading this wiki.
I'm not gonna be honest. I don't know how they're making out with the deli. Every place I've ever worked, every like service industry job I've ever had in this modern day and age and era, you got to be a little bit gay,
You're not wrong. Um,
especially if you're in the kitchen.
so this one's, they have a couple locations throughout the nation. I just went to the Boulder one because I live
Hmm.
in parts unknown, Colorado. Um, and an hour and a half drive to go check out a weird place interests me.
Hmm.
Very fair.
But yeah, they're apparently on campuses. They're in churches. They're pretty culty. But again, good food.
Yeah.
If you could work a couple hours and get a free sandwich, I definitely recommend. And you get to fuck with a
Well,
cult.
hmm.
Did,
So, like,
did you ever
what kind
figure out
of
what kind of cult they were?
a
Oh,
cult?
yeah, they're a cult. They're not a religious organization. They're a legit
Uh,
cult.
Though I was
okay.
reading it. Yeah, I was gonna leave it with you and your expertise. Yeah.
So now I got to find a new cult to try and join.
I mean, I feel like Colorado's kind of a hot spot.
Yeah,
Bol-
what is up with that place? Is it
Boulder in
just because it's
particular.
cold all the time?
I think there's a lot of rampant homelessness due to the cost of living out here. So there's a large amount of cults that are taking care of people, and people are going along and getting tricked into the beliefs of the cult due to them providing them with like sustenance and housing.
That makes sense.
Um,
I mean, the easiest people to get to join you are the people who have nothing to lose.
Yeah, they're willing to give up what little autonomy they have to get housing and food and a little bit of
free
faith.
work.
I mean, shit, talk about how often people get out of jail on that level and immediately just do something so they can get thrown back in.
That's a legit fear. There's a lot of people that get out of jail. Sorry about that. That are afraid of being on their own. They've been so structured and so taken care of, not well, just
Yeah,
not enough to
but
die.
better than not knowing since a lot of them are just like lifelong in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah, and I mean, you run into the same issue with like homeless veterans and stuff like that. Is the
Hmm.
military doesn't give you the ability to be autonomous. So when you get out and you're just thrown into autonomy, it is one of those, I don't know what to do. I know how to live in the woods. I don't know how to live where I have a job that I actually have to like track my hours and shit like that.
Right.
Mhm.
Um, but let's get off the dark stuff. Oh,
Is this episode 5, the saddening to Electric Boogaloo? Is
can't
that what's
say
happening?
can't say boogaloo on the internet. People think you're a right wing conspiracy nut.
Oh, damn. Episode 5, the saddening part to Electric Company. Is that better?
That is significantly better.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I had to let the dog out of my office. It's dinner time for him, and he was getting grumpy. You don't argue with a 200-pound German Shepherd.
I mean, you can. He just argues back.
Yeah,
So that you'll become the,
he's got teeth bigger than some of my fingers.
you'll just become the dinner. What's the worst that happens?
He's too old and fat for that. Dude, I thought he was dying last night. I was trying to, like, figure out a way to get Aaron to realize without fucking panicking. Come to find out, dog's fine. He's just old and had allergies. I gave him a Benadryl. He's good to go. But he was like panting and drooling and like shaking his head, and I was like, I think he's having a seizure.
Oh, jeez. I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah, full on freak out. Gave him Benadryl. Hour later, he was sleeping like his normal self. But for a solid 2 hours last night, I was like, fuck, if he dies, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't like the other dog that much. I mean, she's cool, but she's terrified of everything and is not a good house defender.
She doesn't guard the house. She just sits there and
Runs and hides.
She's afraid of card boxes.
Well, actually,
I think my
she's
cat would be a
just a
better house
walking oil
defender.
slick. She's just a walking oil slick because she will pee when frightened.
She hasn't done that in a long time. She actually hasn't peed in the house since we moved. So it's been like a solid 2 years. Haven't scared her into peeing.
That's dope.
That's good.
So back to the
Getting
dark
up.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
God, I thought we were off.
The upcoming eclipse. What are your guys' thoughts? I don't think any of us live in a spot where we're going to see the full eclipse.
No, I think I was listening to this. I was listening to the news this morning, and they said where I'm living, we're going to get about a 60% eclipse.
Yeah, I'm about like 58, but I have neighbors that are going to Texas for like the.
What day is it?
I think it's Monday, the 8th.
I wonder how far I could get on a Monday that I don't have to work. I don't know. I might try to drive out to see if I can get closer to it and see if I can get a better view. But other than that, it's not. It's only going to be 60 from here.
I mean,
the
take
Catholic
I-10
total
West.
eclipse is
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
If you want to go see the total eclipse, you can go to Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky,
I don't want to go
Ohio,
to any of those states.
Pennsylvania, New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, and is that Nebraska? And Nebraska? No, not Nebraska. What's the? Yeah.
I'm not a particular fan of any of those states.
You can go to like
had to go to all.
western part of Louisiana and probably catch it.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
I mean, if you leave on Sunday, you can go to
Indiana.
fucking Austin and party your ass off and then go to an eclipse party and be back by Wednesday.
I know my neighbors are going to Texas, and they offered me eclipse glasses while I'm here, but I'm like, I work when it hits, so.
Yeah, right. Some of us have jobs, asshole.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not retired.
I got to look into it because no matter what, I want to be outside for it, so I don't have to work.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen
It'd be a fun one.
I've seen a couple of them so far. The allure is lost on me at this point.
I haven't seen this solar eclipse. I've seen a whole shit ton of lunar eclipses over the years. Shit, around this time when I was in New Zealand, it was when it was like a big blood red moon lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
I got reminded of pictures I took just with like a crappy phone, and it still came out just blood red. And it was the dope as fuck. We just sat out there smoking and drinking right next to the ocean. It was the same night I found out that bioluminescent plankton were a thing.
Dude, bioluminescent plankton are the shit.
I was stoned, a little bit drunk, and like a child in a candy store when I found this out in the ocean that we were hanging out at, because you would just start kicking like and just kick water everywhere, and it all sparkles.
I went swimming in, I think, Malaysia, and that's where I saw it for the first time. They had it out in Hawaii, but it wasn't like super predominant. It was just like every once in a while you'd find a patch.
Yeah, that entire beach that night was just filled with them. It was such a dope experience. And I guess we have them somewhere here in Florida too. I guess near Central Florida or something like that.
Doesn't surprise me.
Probably.
The question is it's probably like in the middle of an alligator fucking breeding ground where if you go into the water, you're gonna get eaten.
Everything is an alligator breeding ground in Florida. We live in their home.
You're not wrong.
The fact that they can show up in a random pond in the middle of the city, right next to apartment complexes, says it all. Like there's nowhere off limits, and you don't realize they're there because they do that shit when everybody's asleep. They find that pond, they live in it for a while, eat all the fish, and dip the fuck out.
I love it when people they'll be like, "Oh, the frogs are chirping." I'm like, "That's an alligator, guys." Frogs don't make that weird, deep, guttural growl noise.
May through November is when you can best see them in Orlando. Like waters in Orlando. Don't ask me which specific waters, but
Yo, that sounds like pollution, homie.
What waters in Orlando? It's a
That's what
landlocked city.
that's what do you think I'm looking at? Like I'm trying to figure out. There is Merritt
That's just all
Island.
retention ponds.
All right,
Disney
more
dumping.
specific. Merritt Island Wild Refugee near Titusville, Indian River Lagoon near Titusville. I don't know why they said Orlando.
That's not Orlando.
Yeah, I don't know. Banana
That's like
River near
halfway
Cape
between
Canaveral.
Orlando and Daytona.
Yeah, and Kiwanis Island near Cocoa, or Cocoa Beach. Why do you
That's
say
not
Orlando
Orlando
if that's
either.
nowhere near Orlando?
It's like saying I'm gonna go surfing in Orlando. It's really fucking Cocoa Beach.
Maybe it's because like when you say like, oh, I'm gonna go to Titusville, they're like, where's Titusville? You just say Orlando because it's easier to say like a major city than like try to explain the very small town near the major city. And by near I mean like it's like an hour odd drive.
Yeah.
I feel like it's still closer to Daytona.
Most people don't know Daytona though. Like
Who the
that
fuck
is
doesn't know Daytona?
that is very much a southern thing.
Yeah. Unless you're into like NASCAR, IMSA, WEC, any motorsport, or you want to go or have people that have went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, or whatever university.
Sure.
It's a fucking for-profit university. They're only considered the best because they pay a marketing guy a lot of money to make them considered the best.
Well, that's how it always works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so news on the upcoming eclipse. There is a bunch of counties that are declaring states of emergency for the upcoming eclipse. Like what do they think's going to happen? I have no idea. I just read headlines. I don't read articles. I can't read.
I could see a lot of
sure.
Florida counties doing that because they're that fucking superstitious because they're that religious.
But like the Christian organization generally doesn't have a weird belief structure around eclipses.
Yeah, but things evolve.
You're not wrong.
People get freaked out about everything these days, and it's just a new thing that could possibly be a big thing. I'm like fucking Y2K, man. People freaked out about that. It was just the turning of the new year.
Now, hear me out. This is from USA Today. Some local governments like Niagara Falls in New York, in Canada, and Bell County, Texas, have declared state of emergencies in advance of the event as popular viewing points in the path of totality face increased stress on emergency services, cell phone networks, and transportation avenues. So they're like,
Okay, that
we're
makes
just going to
more
call
sense.
it
It's like
just
different-
because logistics might happen.
And they're talking about actually just doing it in places that are in the line of the total eclipse. That makes
Yeah.
more sense.
Yeah, it's not going to be in like Bufu, Texas. It's going to be like, this is a major point that everyone's going to be at. So let's prepare.
Ain't no one going to Fort Hood to see a goddamn eclipse in Bell County, Texas.
I'm just
Sorry.
Like I said, it's from
For-
USA Today.
Fort Cavazos or whatever the fuck they're calling it. You gotta change fucking base names because it's offensive.
I think people are, man. Like I was listening to an article this morning about it. It is apparently the biggest day for travel in the United States in the past like year and a half, 2 years. Or at least of this year, even more than like the day before Christmas or the Friday before Christmas.
There are plane flight, like sightseeing eclipse plane flights going on. My question is, how mad would you be if you get given an aisle seat on that?
Bro.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because it's not like they got glass top planes. And if they do, fucking
Nah.
sign me up. I'm about that shit.
I'm gonna be the reason they have to land this plane.
Yeah.
There ain't no fucking way I'm about to get some Alzi.
It's like a 787 where there's like there's an aisle row, not just an aisle seat. You're stuck in the middle between two fat people.
Well, if that's the case, I'm just gonna cause mayhem. It's like, no, we land. At least I can see it on the fucking ground.
Fair.
I mean, you gotta
Yeah.
use the fat people sweat to grease yourself up and get yourself a window seat. I'm not against sitting in someone's lap to watch this.
So when I was looking up the solar eclipse,
Or just get naked.
and,
Nobody wants to fuck with a naked dude.
that too. But when I was looking at the solar eclipse and trying to find out news and whatnot, I read something about Mercury retrograde. Does anybody like?
Yo, I have no idea what that means.
So I kind of know about it,
Okay,
but I don't know about it.
I just know
That's
the
post my hippie days.
I know the
when they're, like-
definition that Mercury is going to start spinning backwards.
It's supposed to mean something as in like a big energy shift, and from what I was told recently, like a time to like not sign any contracts or like make any big decisions or stuff like that.
This could lead to increase in negative moods such as anger, resentment, or sadness. So just like a normal Monday. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's in the like the like shit. Can't think of it right now.
I'm
But
sorry.
the spiritual side of things. Sorry, brain fart for a second. It's more on the
good.
spiritual side of things and the belief in the effects of the universal bodies on our energetic field of the planet.
Sorry.
Essentially.
I can't believe anybody that believes there's a giant salt lick in their house that's getting rid of negative energy. Shit looks cool. I love the giant
I
salt
have a
rocks.
tiny one.
And it tastes good. If you look at
It's like fucking salt.
Yeah, it tastes good. So I found the episode name for this episode, calling it the conspiracy.
I'm about it.
Then.
Yeah.
So we have to do our weekly Helldivers update. Space
Malevolent
Vietnam.
Creek.
Space Vietnam has been captured.
It took
Let's
them.
go.
They gave us 24 hours to finally take Malevolent Creek. Did you guys see how long it actually took?
Yeah, I saw the Reddit post of, hey, the new order is Malevolent Creek. And then the next Reddit post was like, Malevolent Creek has been conquered.
Yeah.
5 hours. It took divers 5 hours to take Malevolent Creek. It's because everybody who was already on there didn't change what they were fucking doing. They
Yeah,
just finally had help.
Yeah. I remember, what was it? It was Kain, it was you, me, and one of our other buddies. Or two of our, yeah, one of our other buddies and like a blueberry. And a blueberry is like a rando. If you don't play Destiny, they're just a random player. I remember us playing, and then it tipped over to 100%. I'm like, no fucking shot. That's cool.
Why a blueberry?
So in Destiny, your teammates are in blue names, and it's just a way to call like a new person or like a rando.
I was going to go with, well, when a green berry and a strawberry love each other enough.
What do you mean love?
Well, really lust, because it's, strawberries are probably two chump punches, or however the fuck that thing goes.
Do you mean... okay, I'm just going to let you believe whatever color. I'm colorblind, so I can't really think.
Okay, we're getting off topic. So
Yeah.
Still on the Helldivers. What? So this is a big back and forth on the forums, and I've been seeing a lot of like people kind of getting into it about it, not like heavily or like rudely, but just in general, of people choosing not to ever play on another side or against another enemy and just staying on like, and it's mostly an issue for the people who just never leave the bug planets. How do you guys feel about that one?
I mean,
Let people play as they play.
yeah, initial gut reaction is it's a game. Fucking if they want to only kill bugs and live out their Starship Troopers fantasies, let them. It's not like there's a deep storyline that you gotta go over and kill fucking automatons to unlock or anything.
Also, in my opinion, because I've played on both sides, it's easier to kill bugs than bots. So it might just be like, I want to chill out and have fun and not have to worry about anything.
Yeah,
Though I know the higher you progress in difficulty, you can get higher things, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bugs you definitely have the range advantage. There's not a lot of
Yeah,
bugs.
most of them gotta like actually get up near you to hit you.
yeah. But
Whereas
also, if we, oh, sorry, you go.
I was gonna say, whereas bots are more, you need tactics. You need to be able to say no to a fight, which is a big
Mm-hmm.
problem when you're fighting automatons.
Right.
You just gotta maneuver and communicate well.
Yeah. That, and if you look at the map right now, there's only one sector left of bots, and there's 4 sectors left of bugs. So,
I think they're leading up to the next enemy.
yeah, the
That's how
the
it feels to
totally
me.
the totally distinct from Protosses. Yeah,
Um,
Yeah, pretty much.
well, I mean, the automatons are having a new counteroffensive with their AT-ATs and their fucking bomber ships that suck.
I was about to say, Did you guys see the AT-ATs?
I've seen pictures of them. I haven't watched a video yet, but I've also seen a loadout of what they carry and what they can do.
Yeah.
So fuck that. I'm not ready for that yet.
When do we get one? That's what I want.
I think we're
They just
getting tanks and
they're
stuff
good.
probably next month.
They're also going to be coming out with, as far as I can tell, and from what I see everywhere, they are going to be coming out with a different mech as well, with more like armor destructive weapons, like more rockets, more missiles, stuff like that,
Yeah.
or even EMPs. I don't know yet.
Because I know we have the equivalent of like an AT-ST. And if people have not seen Star Wars, an AT-AT is a very big four-legged thing. AT-ST is like that small little scout with guns. So I know we already have that. I think it's like the exosuit is what they call it.
That was the first thing I ran like hell when I saw one of those. I walked up, I was like, "That's an ATSD." I just turned around, I was like, ran off. I was like, "Okay." Until I had to figure out that they were just that you could actually still hit them from behind. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I just learned that last night or 2 nights ago. Like, oh, you could kill these things from behind and not just like run and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, grenade launchers take them out in one hit.
Yeah, you could also shoot the
Qu-
glass that they're looking out
mhm.
of, the little optic area.
Quasar cannon hit takes it out in one hit as well.
Man, you guys sound like you guys are higher than level 7.
This is true.
Just barely. I got a real job and can't fucking play as much as everyone else can.
Listen, I also have a real job. I can still play as much as everybody else if I time it right, but I just don't.
Yeah, and they just upped the level cap to 150.
What was it before?
50.
Who the Oh, wait, I know people who are level 50.
Kazi's probably halfway there.
I think Kazi's there.
Ozzy is level 50, I bet.
No, I meant halfway to
'Cause-
150.
Oh,
Oh,
also fair.
from what I saw on a couple posts on the Helldivers page was that people were just happened to just jump to levels when it happened. So pointing to that they were like keeping track of how much extra experience they were getting past 50 that was going nowhere.
I mean,
Respect to Arrowhead for doing that. There's a lot of games that wouldn't.
the developer, yeah, Arrowhead's doing a good job with this game. A surprisingly good job.
Oh, I don't know if we talked about it, but there was like a dude that hacked into like Arrowhead or something and went onto I think we did talk about it, and he went onto like a random player's server and spawned him what essentially was going to be a vehicle that we were going to get eventually. And then the creator or like the head of Arrowhead was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool that they wanted to have people have fun," and then just gave a thumbs up and like did nothing, which I think is like really dope.
I mean, they probably don't have the manpower or human power, since manpower is offensive. To
You just because yeah, continue.
to to argue against that point. Like if someone hacks into your thing and you're just scrambling to keep the fucking ship afloat, you're not going to worry about a data breach.
But also, it's not like the hacker did anything super bad. Like he just spawned a vehicle and like pieced.
Yeah, there's a decent, from what I could tell, hacker community doing stuff like that. And it's always people jumping on, be like, I had a dev jump on with me, and everybody's just like, nah, bro, that was a hacker. But who fucking cares? They dropped in a nice recon vehicle, some turrets on, and maybe some rockets, and you get to fuck around and have a great time.
Yeah,
What does it matter?
and I agree.
So long as he's not, stealing your data and shit while he's doing it, which would fucking suck.
Well, luckily,
Well,
I think the social aspect of the game is ran through Steam. So it's one of those, like, they're not even managing. They're doing a callback to a server. They're not managing a server with your data on it.
Yeah.
And if you hack Steam, fuck you. Steam's awesome.
Don't do dirty like that.
Yeah, it's one of those fucking, yeah, it has its problems, but also, like, find me a game store or app that's fucking better.
have you guys? I get this ad like once every like 30 days, maybe like 20 days, where it's like this it's like a law firm that like it's a class action lawsuit against Steam because like I'm like, and they like monopolize it. I'm like, I don't think they did. I just think they're just a good platform that people just want to keep to.
No, they have absolutely not monopolized the
Yes.
gaming platform. There's so many others. There's fucking Epic. There's goddamn
There's
Rockstar has their own. It's just they're the most successful at what they do. They're the best at what they do.
Yeah, so I'm like, I always laugh when I see that ad. I'm like, I'm not gonna sign up because I don't know if it's real. And for one, and two, it's only $6 you're giving me, so it's not worth it.
Yeah, that's why I didn't sign up for the 3M one. The 3M one, I think it was like 15 or $16. And I was like, there's not enough money involved for me to put forth time and effort into filling out this paperwork.
Yeah.
But I did see a quote from Gabe Newell. I'm paraphrasing, but it was somebody asking him a question of how are they defeating all these other like app stores and game stores and stuff like that. And his response is, we're not beating them in any way, shape, or form. They just keep fucking up.
Very fair.
Because Steam's been Steam for a long time. I can't remember the last time they did a notable update to Steam that I was like, oh, this is cool, or oh, this is terrible. If they're doing updates in the background, which I think they are, because every time I fucking start it, it needs an update.
They just did a big update today.
Yeah, I think it's just they're keeping things going, man. Like,
Isn't there still a Steam beta? Like, there's like supposed to be a new Steam that they just kept in beta because they're like, there's nothing for us to change on the main Steam, but here's a beta just in case you want to do it.
I think that had something to do with Steam's social, because they tried to be a social network, kind of. And by try, I'm using the loosest form of that term.
They thought about attempting.
Yeah,
The best.
they put in the stuff to make Steam a social media platform, and then no one did it, and they were like, "Oh, we're just gonna leave it there." Like, you got to think they got chat, they got a page you could post things on. You can go check your friends, your Steam friends' posts. You can check what they've accomplished in games, how many hours. Like, it is a
You
gaming
can see
social
mutual
media
game
thing.
share.
Yeah.
True.
But in the grand scheme of things, people don't log on to Steam to see what their friends are doing. They log into Steam to start a game and go play games with their friends.
Right.
So,
Or I think what most people do, and this is a joke but also kind of true, is you go to your library, you scroll up through the games you have, you scroll down, you scroll back up, and decide not to play anything.
I mean, that's about right. I just want to point out, pulling Steam up, how the fuck is Call of Duty Black Ops still $60?
Real.
They want $59.99 for Black Ops 2.
That's not on my feature to recommend it, which is kind of weird. But
This
I
game
am old enough.
this game is 12 years old.
They want $50 for it's $50 for the season pass. That's actually insane. Or is that Black Ops 2 and the season pass?
The fuck?
So you get the Black Ops 2 bundle for 100. You get the digital. I can literally just pull out my my original Black Ops 2 copy and probably play it. Maybe.
I can see my disc from where I'm sitting in my office.
You can spend $60 for Black Ops and $121.64 for all the content in the game.
And this
From
is
Apocalypse all the way to like the calling card packages.
for international listeners. This is freedom units, not Canadian rubles. I don't know what they use up there. Something about loonies and fuck the queen and fucking talking about the queen and her savageness. This really has very little to do with the queen. They're making king pounds now. Pounds. They're making king pounds now. So they're phasing the queen off of the money, and because the United Kingdom is doing that, Canada and Australia, which keep in mind are free countries that aren't in any way, shape, attached to royalty at all, are changing theirs to the king euros or the king pounds. So saw this, read the story, was like, cool, expected. 2 days after they announced this, apparently the king has cancer and has like 2 years to live.
Jesus.
Yeah. So they're going to change all this money and pull all the queen stuff out of circulation for a dude that's going to be royalty for 2 years. Keep in mind, royalty in the United Kingdom is just landowners at this point. I don't think they actually have. I don't know how.
Do they get paid a salary?
I'd imagine they do.
They
Like,
get
you
a
know how,
portion
like,
of your
the US
taxes, yes.
And also the way like estates pass down and stuff like that. They get everything. They get land, money, debts, fucking wine collections. It just goes on to the next of kin or whoever they deem it to go to.
I don't know.
So essentially, when you get the estate of the previous owner, being it a king or a queen or something like that, you are essentially you're just fucking rich.
Yeah.
Or you're poor, or you're wealthy and poor at the same time. Have no fucking liquid assets, but have everything in fucking just like ownership of things.
We call that wealth.
Right.
Not
Right.
rich. I think it was Chris Rock that was like, there's a difference between being wealthy and being rich.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Just because you're wealthy don't mean you're rich.
You know those fuckers don't have last names or surnames or whatever those people from that tyrannical government call themselves? They don't have like if you're King George, you are just King George. Your title is your surname.
Are you sure?
Well,
Yeah, you have to.
We live in America. I don't really pay attention after,
Once you
the
become
Revolutionary War.
a Dutch or Duchess, you have to give up your surname to basically just have your title.
Damn, just imagine you working your entire life to get rid of like an embarrassing like last name.
I mean, can I go up to King George, challenge him to mutual combat, and take over the United Kingdom? Because if so, I would totally give Ireland back.
Okay, now I have to look up the right part. So part of my job on here is to look up background information. So give me a few minutes.
While he's looking up things about things that happened before history started, because history did start in 1776. If you're from a foreign nation and don't understand that America owns this planet.
God damn it. This podcast, this episode is just.
Though.
We're gonna have to.
Arguably, what part of this planet can we not just fucking crush under the finger of God at any given moment? And the only thing that's stopping the United States from creating Super Earth is our fucking kindness. Like, it's literally
mutually assured destruction. Yeah.
not even mutually fucking. China a couple months ago found out that all their nuclear weapons had water instead of rocket fuel in them. Fucking,
hilarious.
I can't trust Russia to have a functional fucking gun, let alone a functional fucking nuclear weapon. Like, what?
Hey, Makarov is a wonderful gun, sir.
I agree, but that's the Soviet Union, not Russia. There's vast differences between the two, even though most people can't tell you what they are. Like, fucking the AK, what is it? The AK-74U, I think their most modern 5.45 operational battle rifle when they invaded Ukraine. Barely functional. In the 5.45 round, in an attempt to compete with the 5.56 round, fucking tumbles after a couple hundred yards. Terrible ammunition. Like, I'm all about the reliability of an AK. AK bros, you don't gotta hate on me for this. I get it. But fucking find me a working functional rifle in a country that still makes AKs. Between either the rifle being made out of shit steel or their ammo just being so poorly QC'd that 1 in 50 rounds fucking explodes. Like, it's not a peer-to-peer enemy is what I'm trying to say. There's not a peer-to-peer enemy on this planet that can hold up to if we let the United States military off of its fucking leash. And I get Canada will fuck us up because they believe the Geneva Convention is the Geneva List. I understand. But there's like 60 million of them. It ain't going to be that hard of a fight.
So, while you were on this tangent, thank you so much for explaining and your passion. I was looking up. No, you can no longer. So back in like the ye old days, you could, from what I'm reading. But nowadays, no, you cannot challenge the King of England to combat or to a duel. And if you win, you become king. You can't do that anymore because UK is ruled by laws, so you don't get to become king. Which, sad, but I don't think I would want to become King of England anyways.
So I can't challenge the king. I can't challenge the king and take his throne, but I can challenge the governor of Texas and take his throne. Because Texas and Washington both are states with laws of mutual combat. So if we both agree, that shit's mine.
Have fun. You know what? If you do, have fun.
It's either mine or it's suddenly not my problem anymore. I'm just pointing that out.
I feel like if you do that, you're going to set such a precedent that it's going to be... You remember the Futurama episode where they go to the desert planet and the only way to become king of the desert planet is to drink the other king because they're like water beings, like they're water aliens?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if you do that...
That's a great episode.
Yeah, a great episode. If you challenge the governor or whatever, Texas, and win, it's just going to start a cycle of that.
So...
I mean, then Texas may, finally drop down into what it's really meant to be. Essentially what we see in Mad Max.
Well, Texas is barely a state. They even call themselves a republic. So, but...
With their independent, old, decrepit...
They are entirely from stolen land.
Well, yeah, all of America is entirely from stolen land,
what are you talking about?
Valid.
Like, fucking be immune to smallpox or fucking fight better. Like, get higher on your evolution tree in Age of Empires before you try to fuck with us. But back to Futurama. I had a question.
They weren't even trying to fuck with us. We were the ones who started it.
Hey, man.
So back to Futurama.
They were trying to fuck with us. This is my land. I claimed it. You weren't standing here when I got here.
So back to Futurama.
If I pee the king out, does he become the king again, or am I still the king? Does he have to drink me?
Does his consciousness go away when he's going through your body? That's the question. That's the real question here.
This is unintentionally.
They didn't have brains, if I remember correctly. They were just water beings with a consciousness. So does a
the
consciousness leave through your body, or does he like actively see and feel what is going on?
Oh, so okay, so the episode was called The Three Sons, and the plot. What's funny is when you brought that up, that's actually it's either he sweat him out or he pissed him out into a bottle because he didn't want to die. Because like that was the thing is like I legitimately I think he pissed him into a bottle.
I don't know if there's a direct connection between your stomach and sweat. I think there's a lot more steps between your stomach and sweat than there is your stomach and pee.
Sorry. When according to the My Three Sons Wikipedia, when Leela arrives, Fry tells Leela that he does not need her help, and she begins beating Fry, causing him to weep in pain and crying out the Emperor. Fry takes it as a sign that Leela still cares for him and thanks him. And the crew leaves and the Emperor is out. Yada yada yada.
I got one for you.
I'd talk about Stockholm syndrome for that one.
Right. He's just a little kinky. He just likes being a little beat sometimes. So not all of us hate that.
No, because he wanted to actually fight the guy that was trying to kill him, and Leela was like, "Fry, you're dumb. Don't do that." And then Leela decided to just beat the fuck out of him.
I love how most of the episode people are just poking him with straws, and he's just like, "Leave me the fuck alone."
Right.
Yeah.
So, still on Futurama.
Okay.
They are doing another season of Futurama, or did another season of Futurama. I refuse to watch it.
I think they recently did, and I think I watched it. It's still just as good. It hasn't changed in quality, in my opinion.
I don't have
I was also very high.
The 8th season, July 24th, 2023 till now.
I'm all about them, especially because they kept it all like same theme, same like level of comedy, all that stuff. I'm about that.
Mm-hmm.
My issue is
pretty much the same actors.
The final episode of Futurama was such a good ending of series episode.
Wasn't that when he went through the different, like, he just went through time forever?
Yeah, and then at the end of episode, Leela found a way to like stop time, and they lived out the rest of their lives with time
they watched
stop.
the universe explode.
Yeah, because if they stayed alive, or if she went back to regular time stream, Fry would die. Like, beautiful, beautiful writing.
That's right. It was a really pretty ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they bringing that back? Like, you had the perfect ending.
Money.
You're not wrong. So, I want to hit this. This is one of my main topics of discussion. April Fool's gags, NVIDIA buying Xbox from Microsoft. How fucking good was that?
That got a lot of people. I could see it happening, but I could also not see it happening. Because they just got Activision. They just got Blizzard.
Blizzard Activision.
Same difference at this point.
I mean, Blizzard hasn't been Blizzard since Activision merger.
Mm-hmm.
Same difference. I'll stand by it. It'd be dope.
I think they still called it the Blizzard / Activision because ain't nobody about to play a fucking Call of Duty say Blizzard Call of Duty.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, like, name a good Blizzard game since fucking Activision and Blizzard merged.
When did they merge?
I mean, we can go down this path.
Balls a little bit there, bud.
Oh, RAA bot hit puberty.
I just always like when I'm quite 2008. There's no shot they merged in 2008.
I mean, that sounds right.
2008 they merged. What games came out?
I think Diablo 3.
I mean, you don't really
Diablo 3 was good.
Well, you got
OG Overwatch was good.
2008 was the last time you ever saw the Activision logo actively come on to a video game, and you remember that logo with like the fucking eyeball and shit.
The eyeball and the eye and the I think it's the second eye in Activision stabs through it in Tony Hawk Underground 2.
Name the last game you remember that actually had that logo pop on the screen.
Tony Hawk Underground 2.
Yep. So it makes sense that it was way back then.
It explains why StarCraft 2 was such a shit show. StarCraft 2 came out in 2010. And I was so excited for that
Diablo
game.
3.
Yeah, we all know Diablo 3 is a shit show.
It's my favorite shit show, but
It's
fairs.
because you were too young for Diablo 2.
I don't think I was alive for Diablo 2.
You were. I think it was early 2000s. Wait, you might have been.
In 2000. So technically, yes, I was alive.
Yeah, I was trying to think back. I was like, I remember playing that shit in like middle school, bro. But early 2000, yeah,
Sure.
that'd be middle school.
It's no, it's legitimately 2000 is when it came out.
But yeah, so Nvidia buying Xbox, that caught so many of my friends. Just
Really?
I got that article sent to me probably a dozen times yesterday, and I was like, guys, look at the date. It'll be okay. The devil known as
Can we?
Nvidia is not taking away Game Pass. It'll be fine.
Oh, that's so true. I was gonna say, can we like
Not
future
Game
trip
Pass is
on
the
what would
best thing
happen?
that Xbox has done since Halo.
Yeah, Microsoft is not letting go of Xbox solely because of that. That makes them so much money.
I mean, I think in the grand scheme of things, while it does make them a boatload of money, I think their monopoly on Windows probably makes them more, and not from like us being the fucking homeless savages we are, where we just let that little activate Windows license thing in your bottom right corner stay on for 10 years straight. Um, but
Don't need to be called out, but sure.
I mean, I have wallpaper engine, so I don't have to see it.
I just I
But
just definitely got my Windows 10 in a very meaningful way.
but you you go into a data center, you go into any business really, other than the artsy businesses, everyone's running Windows. It is your production hub. As much as people hate Teams, there are very few businesses that use things other than Teams. It's as much as you can hate on Outlook, it is the standard for business email.
I use Outlook every day. I know my buddy, he works for Lumen and they use Teams practically like it's like their only like way of like messaging is through Teams.
I couldn't do my job without Teams. It's easy as that. I probably sit through, on an average Monday, 4 Teams meetings that are more than an hour long each. Like, it is one of those standard things that exists within the construction and engineering community. So I don't think Xbox makes them a large percentage of their income, but it does make enough to where it's believable that Nvidia would try to buy it.
Yeah.
Because
That and it still allows them to have a foothold in the gaming industry.
I just had a core memory unlocked.
Oh.
I don't think Nvidia's really created very much. Because, like, so they bought, what, 3DFX
Mm-hmm.
back in the day because they were losing the graphics card wars, and I'm dating myself here. Um,
What was it called? 3D FX?
3DFX, I think the last one I had was the Voodoo 2. So they bought them out. That kind of like the engineering behind 3DFX kind of bumped NVIDIA. And this is all me off of memory, which is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of rode those coattails and did pretty standard, while meaningful, like pretty standard cadence of this is going to be better in 3 years. Okay, now that that's out, in 3 years, we're going to have something better. Just like a pretty standard engineering timeline.
Mm-hmm.
They, if I remember right, they didn't come up with ray tracing. They just basically put processing cores in their graphics card dedicated to ray tracing. And it's a pretty standard timeline of, we were getting to the graphical capacity and the chip making capacity and speeds that it's possible to do this in live rendered things versus waiting for your computer to render out, like, say, a CGI scene or something.
Mm-hmm.
DLSS, you can kind of give that to them. They kind of made that a thing, but it was something that every graphics card company was working on. I mean, fucking Intel put out a graphics card and it had a DLSS clone right from the get-go. It wasn't good, but it existed.
They had it.
Yeah, because Nvidia is so big, they just throw money at their problems. And then they immediately charge you for those problems that they threw money at. I'm not saying I'm running an AMD graphics card, but fuck, I wish I was.
So I don't want to like date you too much, but the 3DFX Voodoo graphics card came out in '96.
Yep, and you know how I got that bitch?
And Nvidia bought 3DFX in 2000, the same year Diablo 2 was made.
I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is passed on this, and I was like 10. You remember when Kmart had the first self-checkout lines?
Oh no, did you?
So back in them days, barcodes on your products was not a standard. It was a sticker that they attached. So you could roll into the electronics department of a Kmart, grab yourself a graphics card, throw like a fucking water cup sticker on it, and go through self-checkout and get your graphics card for pennies on the dollar.
So you did not strategically locate a new object. You just happened to. Have you ever seen the show Superstore?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the one episode where they're supposed to mark it 25% off, and the dude actually marks it for 25 cents. You just did that, but for yourself.
I do not remember that episode because that show is very forgetful.
That show was horrible. That's the only. I never even watched the full episode. I just remember that scene popping up on like YouTube Shorts, and I'm like, "This is funny," but I'm never watching any other instance of the show again.
That show falls somewhere between Roseanne on the high end and like Married with Children on the low end. Like it's good to watch, but it's definitely background noise. You're not in it for the story.
Yeah. I'm gonna probably catch hands from some people. To me, Superstore is like Community. It's like, yeah, maybe I'll watch it, but it is definitely not going to be on the top of my list or middle of my list anytime soon.
I haven't seen a bad Community episode. I'm sure they exist because every series has bad episodes, but I've been entertained, but I'm not turning it on. It's not Parks and Recreation.
Oh, that's enough. Okay, I'm not going to give my opinion on that one. But the only episodes I've seen from Community is the Chicken Tender episodes and the Pillow Fort War episode. From Community.
The season closeout episodes where they have a paintball match are always my favorites.
I've seen the first one. It's not my style of show anymore.
So
I don't think I've ever seen a single episode of Community.
Check it out.
You're fine.
You'll like it, but you're not going to watch it past checking it out. Like, it's a very forgetful show.
There's two separate answers there. Check it out. I'm like, no, you're fine. You don't have to.
But hey, listen here, you, and you're entitled to your wrong opinion. What's your gripes with Parks and Rec?
Yeah,
it's not my style of humor. It's legitimately that. It's not my style of humor.
Are you gonna come back and tell me you're an Office kind of person?
Fuck no. That's also not my style. I just don't find those shows funny or entertaining.
At least that part's endearing.
Yeah. I don't understand the people that are super into The Office. I'm like, there are better shows.
It's kind of like the people that are super into Friends or Seinfeld.
I mean, I like Seinfeld. I liked Friends.
Seinfeld's a good sleep show.
How I Met Your Mother was better.
Yeah. How I Met Your Mother was good up until the last season where they fucked it all up.
I haven't even tried How I Met Your Father yet, and I don't know if I ever will.
Not terrible.
Really?
Not terrible. Not great by any stretch of the imagination, but not terrible. I think they did a good job in a community of people that could give a fuck less about a sitcom. Like modern sitcoms, you're basically just, it's a waste of time at this point. No one's watching them. Talking on that, Netflix put out, what the fuck was it called? I think it's like Stupid Girl or Stupid Smart. Has a bunch of actors and actresses you've definitely seen in other shit as secondary roles,
Mm-hmm.
as main characters in it. But I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, stupid smart. No, that's the True Crime Vandal parody.
I was gonna
Um,
say that's the only thing I'm seeing. Is it pretty smart?
Pretty smart. That's what it is. The premise of the show is there's like a Harvard graduated philosophy major
Mm-hmm.
older sister and then like a younger sister that gets by a lot of her looks but is super clumsy, and they live in California with like a hot, I'm guessing, Malaysian chick that's super spiritual and a muscle head, and
Or just
shenanigans
90s
happen.
sitcom?
Yeah, it's 90. It is true 90s sitcom. I enjoyed it. I am not one to sit in front of a sitcom and actually pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
But it, like, I burned through the whole season. I doubt it's getting a second season, and I was like entertained.
Okay. I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that you're going to be impressed. I'm just saying
Right.
it's, if you want to sit down for a few hours and burn through 4 or 5 episodes of something, it beats the shit out of like Big Bang Theory for the 19th time. But like, if you can catch Roseanne on a streaming service, OG Roseanne, not that new shit they came out with, definitely a better sitcom. But Roseanne like had my heartstrings. So, except for the last episode, which is bullshit. I will die on that hill.
I'll give you that one.
Or I understand what you mean.
But yeah, sitcoms are I wouldn't call them a waste of money because I'm sure they make their money back because they keep pumping them out. But like,
I mean, shit, if fucking Days of Our Lives is still making modern every like episodes every goddamn week.
Are they?
I wouldn't
Yes.
count that as
It
a
is.
sitcom.
Okay, soap opera. Same style of a show, just like everyday watching fucking type shit that people sit down and get invested in the characters. Just it's the not funny version of a sitcom.
Yeah, it
It's the
is.
everybody cheats on each other version.
It is the porn film like internship program.
Hey, what's his name from Blue Mountain State was in one of them, and for like 4 seasons.
Dude, can we say that Thad is kicking ass right now?
What do you mean?
Thad, the dude that played Thad.
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying. You meant there, but what do you?
Have you seen Jack Reacher?
Oh, he does play Jack Reacher, doesn't he?
So he plays. I went down a weird rabbit hole about this dude. Alan Richtson. So he did a couple things. He did Blue Mountain State, and then he like quit acting for a little bit. Had a suicide attempt. Had a kid, and is now back. Still fucking Jack Diesel motherfucker, but like he's got Reacher, which is phenomenal. Apparently, he's in one of the Fast and the Furious movies, but he's doing the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which
I want to see that one.
yeah, I am fucking excited about.
I absolutely want to see that.
That I think is gonna be a straight banger, or it's gonna be fucking terrible. But action movies have been good recently. I was
They have.
impressed. I was impressed with Dune, barely an action movie, but still an action movie.
Haven't
Dune,
seen the second one yet. Still,
I still need to see part 2.
the second one was good, definitely worth the watch.
hmm
You got like fucking fuck. We talked about the movie the other day. Oh, Roadhouse. Roadhouse was a good action movie, just old school action movie.
I just finally watched it last night. I had a Roadhouse night, and I watched both of them. First the new one, then the old one. I didn't hate the new one. I kind of liked it. I thought it was cool. I thought the crocodile that was in it was going to be a much bigger part of the movie.
The crocodile was
Since
on
they
point, dude.
they spend the first half of the movie talking about it, and then you see it once, and then they don't even talk about it again.
Yeah.
Fucking Conor McGregor is a shitty fucking actor. How do you play? He sounded like he was playing. He was like he's a super Irish guy. How do you fail at playing an Irish guy?
So this is my theory on it because I had the exact same thought. Um,
He sounded like he was trying too hard to be Irish while still being Irish.
so having seen it twice now, not intentionally, just kind of walked in while it was playing
I
at
was like,
work.
did you do this on purpose?
This is my theory on that. Conor McGregor's not an actor. We know that. He did good as far as the maneuvering parts, like physically being an actor. Did a good job for what he was doing. It sounded to me like he didn't know how to do proper voiceovers because in some scenes, audio on point, right? You can tell he's talking. They have a Canon mic point at him. They're getting what he's actually saying in the scene, and the audio's good. And then other scenes where there's clearly a bunch of background noise going on, they had to have him do a voiceover, which is pretty standard in the movie industry. And it sounded to me like he couldn't get the right emotion to match with his voice based on the scene he was doing the voiceover for. Does that make
Maybe.
sense?
Yeah,
Because
but
go ahead.
okay. No, yeah, but I'm also like not just going back the way like he's walked and like how he carried himself out like in the movie. It seemed like he was trying too hard not to be what he like not to play himself.
And they
While
totally
at the same
hired him
time,
to play himself.
but while he's supposed to be essentially playing himself, because I've seen him in the cuts from when he was losing it and throwing like chairs and fucking shit into buses and shit. I've seen all that, and I've seen him on TV with all the UFC bullshit, and like that was natural, and he looked natural when he was on that screen for that movie. He looked like the most unnatural motherfucker. He looked more unnatural than a goddamn crocodile in Florida.
See, I thought he did pretty good with blocking and stuff like that. I think he just was trying to play a grumpy Irish fighter and not just realizing he's a grumpy Irish fighter.
And that's what I'm getting at. Like he was trying to play something he should have never had to try to play, and you could feel it. He was trying to play it.
Yeah, yeah, I could dig that.
Yeah.
So continuing on this, Gran Turismo was good.
The
Not,
movie.
yeah, I thought the
I could,
audio in Gran Turismo was hot garbage,
I
but
thought the movie was awesome. I actually teared up at the end.
yeah, it was a good movie. Just you have a movie about fucking race cars and you basically mute all the race cars. The fuck is
That's fair.
happening? I want my
That's fair.
I bought a 5.1 badass surround system with a 14-inch subwoofer, so when a fucking GTR flies past me on screen, I could feel that shit in my soul. And they took that away from me.
That's fair. I'll give you that one for a movie about race cars. There wasn't enough race car zoom zoom noises going on.
Yeah, I want to have to turn it down when they're on the track kind of thing.
Right. But I agree. That movie actually exceeded my expectations for how good it was, how like emotional roller coaster style movie it was with all the characters. They did good with that.
And
And good for
relatively
them
true
since
story.
it's yeah, exactly. And good for them since it's so rare you get something like that comes out like that shines on video games and is actually done fucking well.
Yeah. Um, what other good action movies have come out recently? We're getting Mortal Kombat 2 soon, which is going to be good.
I can't fucking wait for that. I don't give a shit what nobody says. That first movie was everything we wanted in a Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah, everybody's complaints on the first one was like, "Oh, it was a bad movie." I'm like, "What are you talking? It was Mortal Kombat, guys."
Tell me, if you think that's bad, and I'm not knocking the old ones, don't get me wrong on this one, go back and watch Annihilation. It was
Yeah.
why I enjoy it, and I still did enjoy it at the time. It was not by any means a great movie. Like the acting wasn't great, the script wasn't great, but it was Mortal Kombat. If you think this new one's bad, just watch that one. Just give it one go through. You don't even need to watch the first one. I recommend it because the first one's actually pretty good.
Yeah. And they had real martial artists in the first one. The first like OG 90s one. Um, oh, fucking new news. And that's because I am a Kevin Smith fucking nerd.
Oh, going on tour again?
No, he's writing a movie that doesn't involve Jay and Silent Bob, and it's supposed to come out next year.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not like his normal Jay and Silent Bob aren't in it. It's an artsy Tusk movie. This is, I
How
think
the
this,
fuck does he have time? You know he's about to go on a fucking whole worldwide evening cut with Kevin Smith tour again. I don't know if it's worldwide. I know it's all over the United States. And I think it's maybe in one or two of the United States territories.
I mean, fuck it. It's Kevin Smith. It's not like he puts more than a month into his movies anyway.
That's valid.
But it's called the 4:30 movie, and apparently it's being filmed at the Smodcast headquarters, so he's not having to pay any like location fees or anything like that. And it's supposed to be like a early 90s, late 80s coming of age movie, much like Clerks or Mallrats or Chasing Amy. I'm excited for it because like Chasing Amy, all time top 10 movie. But yeah, it looks like it's really good. And he's not like throwing Jason Mewes into it because he's trying to do his own thing nowadays. And he's not throwing his daughter into it just to have his daughter in a movie kind of thing. Like, I think this is going to be
Right.
a good return to like OG Clerks style movie.
I'm all for that. Take it back to the roots and everything. And honestly, and I was going to say with the evening with Kevin Smith tour he's doing, from what I can tell, Jason isn't going to be a part of all of it. Only a couple of the stops.
Yeah, that dude's doing stand up now and he's actually pretty good. I saw him locally a couple months ago. And I was like, he's got good timing. He writes good jokes. He throws in the Snoochie Boochies every once in a while, and I'm a huge fan because, again, I'm a Jan Silent Bob fucking, cuckold. But I enjoy that shit. I like going to see comedy to see comedy. I don't need some fucking message shoved down my throat while
I
I'm
agree
trying
with
to
that
get
one.
my ha-has on.
I can agree with that one. So you go there to get away from all the bullshit and to forget about it, not necessarily be thrown in your face and just joked about because it's relevant.
Yeah. Oh, let's see what other subjects do we have. Quick shout out, Sum 41's on their final tour. Go see them. They're a fucking rockin' punk band and a pretty dope metal band. Although it's definitely sticker shock when you see them live and they start breaking out fucking Metallica rips and shit like that.
I can't say I've ever seen them live.
Good
If
show.
if they come around, I might.
Good show. It's their final tour apparently, and then they're splitting up after this again. But I think they're just finally done kind of things. And I get that. Like, I wish more fucking rock bands and metal bands knew when to retire. Because if I remember right, Avenged Sevenfold put out an album recently. And, like, why?
They're not even that old compared to a lot of the ones who have been coming out of retirement lately.
Yeah. Like, but why? Avenged Sevenfold hasn't been good since their drummer died. They've put out some bangers. I get it. The Rev was the shit. They're very talented artists, but like you lost the feel of Avenged Sevenfold. And I was a huge fan of Unholy Confessions. Fucking thrash metal's my jam. But give them some love. And then we don't really have to hit anything else. Everything else can kind of carry over.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's call it a show, guys.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us this week.
Yeah. And then, Poe, you want to tell them where to find us?
Yep. So thank you for listening this week through this very interesting podcast. Love this episode. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at The Depths of Jigoku, as well as you can find us on YouTube at The Depths of Jigoku. We release our episodes Friday, 6 a.m., and that is pretty much where you could find all of us. Everything should be set up, and we'll start posting some things on Twitter, like when we're going to go live, or just some interesting things we found. And thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, if there's anything you guys want us to talk about or bring up in the show or anything like that, just give us a shout.
Anything we can improve on or you want to hear our weird views on, let us know at the link to email. We will have a Discord up soon for the like 4 people that listen to our bullshit. And other than that, good day, good night, good afternoon, good morning, wherever the hell you are on this planet when you're listening to this. I hope we made your Friday a little bit better than any other Friday you're having. And just as a shout out, because I recently had someone commit the unalive, fucking reach out to somebody, man. Bridges are built from both sides. All right, guys. I think we're out.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Are you ready for the rough mid bass?